Yo, what's good? We back with CT's RPT, Real Prison Talk with Wes. And tonight, it's going to be another brief one. I just got in from work, tired. Got my shower stuff ready. I'm about to go jump in the shower, lay down and do it all over again. But tonight, I'm gonna touch the issue about dudes that come home and go right back to the same things. Now, I'm not God, so I'm not here to judge anybody. But based on my last two shows that I did, the majority of the people feel like if a certain person wasn't there for you, then you shouldn't come home to that person. So in tradition of that topic, why go home to the same things that got you to put in prison in the first place? Now, a lot of my peoples that know me, go and say that that's real hypocritical of me to even come at this subject like that, because I myself am a victim of doing the same thing, I came out to Connecticut, came out here to sell drugs, and it didn't work out for me. Shortly after I was arrested, they took a couple years from me. I came home and went right back to the same thing. And it's crazy because for someone in my shoes, what a lot of people don't know is that it's an addiction. And just like the drug users are addicted to using the drug, us as drug dealers are just as addicted to selling the drug. If not selling the drug, the lifestyle that comes with it. And I remember I was in McDougal facility, a level 4 facility. I was taking a psychology class, and we had to do a paper. It was our final. The professor, she had all these people come in. We had the option to choose what topic we wanted to do our final on. And she had the mayor of New Haven. She had the mayor of Hartford, a representative from the mayor of Bridgeport, because he's a felon. He can't set foot in the facility. And me being me, my topic was how drug dealers are just as addicted as the drug users. And I really broke down why a lot of us go right back to the same thing. It's an addiction. I exposed the similarities between drug users and drug dealers. And this was something that I had to take a step back out of my life to see, because when I was in the mix of things, when you're in the streets, you don't notice it, and it's crazy because you look at crackheads or dope fiends, you don't know, you just as addicted. I know I used to sell drugs right outside my mom's building in New York. My mom lived in one building. I sold drugs in the lobby of the very next building. God bless the dead, my sister used to live in the next building. We sold drugs in my sister's building. I would sit out there all night. So we had shifts. So I believe my shift was till 6, 7 in the morning. It was early because I know my mom used to see me on her way to work and then see me on the way back home. And she actually said one day, it was like maybe 7 in the morning, I'd been out all night smoking my weed, partying, because we turned the building that we sold drugs into. Any spot that's getting money is going to turn into the spot. So the spot where we sold our crack at was like the hangout. Everybody wanted to be there because everybody always wants to be around the dudes that's getting it. So everybody wanted to be there. So my shift, even though I was selling drugs, it was like I was really just hanging out and partying. Smoke weed all night. We had chicks in the lobby. But by 7 in the morning, the party is usually over about 5:36. Everybody left. So now I would sit out there for the last hour trying to finish my pack by myself. A couple times I fell asleep on that bench in front of that building by myself. I remember even my brother used to come wake me up and be like, Wes, go home, man. Or my mom's would be on her way to work. And her seeing this and seeing a routine, it was one morning I was out there. I was out all night. My eyes was bloodshot red. I was looking like one of them. She didn't know any better. But my mother know me better than that. So she like, look at you, Wes. You just as bad as the people you selling this stuff to. And at the time, it kind of went right over my head, I took the phrase and I took it as this is an old lady that don't know. She don't know what time it is. Not knowing that everybody's mom, grandmom, aunt, uncle, whoever it is, was young at one time. Nothing that we did is new. So it took for me to get put in prison and to be out of the spotlight for me to see how I was moving and how I was looking. And I was like, she was right. I was looking like one of them. I remember another similarity between drug dealers and drug users. Personal story again. I had just had my first daughter. My sister was alive at the time. Right next door to my sister was a crack house. Crack house is a house that a bunch of crackheads frequented. The crackhead that owned it would let one drug dealer at a time come in there and sell his drugs. When I'd go in there, I wouldn't leave, because when you leave, it's like a lobby full of drug dealers. All the drug dealers is in the lobby trying to sell their drugs. But if you're lucky enough to get in the house, that's where all the crackheads go. They go to his house first, and then he takes the money and goes to see who he wants to see. So the smart ones is the ones that was posted up in his house. So I remember I posted up in his house for about 3 days straight. No lie. I didn't go home. I didn't shower. I don't even think I brushed my teeth. I think the second day I had sent one of the crackheads across the street to the local convenience store to get me a toothbrush and some toothpaste. I just had my first daughter. My kid's mom comes down to get me. She used to have to literally come get me and bring me home. Like, are you going to come home and spend time with your daughter? And when she knocked on the door, one of the smokers answered the door. They're like, what's this? Your kid's mom. So I'm like, oh, let her in. From the outside looking in, she comes in and she sees her baby father sitting at a table with crackheads. I think we were having like a spades game or something. These people had became my friends. I spent so much time in this house. We were friends. So I got my blunt in my mouth. I'm playing cards. They smoking, they crack, passing the stem back and forth. It got to the point where, I've been selling crack for a long time. That don't even bother me. I could sit right there in a crack house with a bunch of crackheads smoking crack right there. Never bothered me. As long as that money was right, that's all I cared about. But she comes in and she looks at me, and I could just tell by the look in her face, she was like, Wes, what the hell are you up in here doing? What's going through your mind? Like, you look like these people, you smell. I've been up just like they up chasing a high. I'm up chasing a dollar. It's really no big difference. We both up chasing. I've been in this nasty, stinking crack house for 3 days, so the house stinks. Guess what I smell like? I smell just like them, just like the house. So she like, you look like them, you smell like them. Oh my God. And I'm like, I had a couple $1,000s on me just for these few days that I've been there. So I'm pulling out my money and I'm like, this is what I'm in here doing. I'm showing her stacks of money. And she was like, yeah, but what is it worth, you know? And I remember I brought that up in my paper. And the way I ended it, I had told because we had to do the presentation in front of all these people. So I'm reading the paper, but I'm really talking to them. I'm reading it like I'm talking to them. So I remember asking them, like, if that's not an addiction, what do you call that? And if that's not enough proof that drug dealers are just as addicted, because the thing is, there's help for drug users. A drug user can go to a rehabilitation center. There's no help for a drug dealer. That's why when the cops come kick in our door, when it came and got me, this last bit that I just got off of, when the police came and got me, first thing came out my mouth was, oh, that's personal use. He looking at these hundreds of grams of crack on the table and all his money, and he like, are you kidding me? Who you think you're joking with? And I even tried to run with that, because the sad part is, for a drug user, the drug laws are less harsh. They will bend just a tad bit, but they will bend for a drug user. The mandatory minimum sentences changes if you're addicted to a narcotic while you committed your crime. So as drug dealers, that's our go-to. Oh, we use drugs. Because we know that if we could convince this judge that we're drug users instead of drug dealers, that may be the difference between spending the night in a jail cell or in a comfy bed or inside somebody's rehabilitation center. And if not comfy, it's more comfortable than that bunk. You sleeping in a jail cell that's similar to what this halfway house looked like. Bunk bed. And believe it or not, this halfway house bunk beds is more comfortable than a jail cell. So my point is, I'm telling these people this, and I'm exposing the flaws in the law and how it's biased to drug use. I gotta be a drug user to get help, not knowing as a drug dealer I need help too. The same way a drug user goes to jail, get clean. You got fiends that go to jail, get clean. You would never know they use drugs in the world. Maybe one of the biggest dieselest dudes in jail. You come home, they smoking crack and shooting dope. The same way they go to jail, get clean. Then when they come home, if they don't change people, places, and things, they relapse right back into their addiction. What you think the drug dealers do? We go to jail. A lot of us go to jail with good thoughts. Yo, I'm tired of coming back to jail. But then we drop right back off in the same poverty that we was left in, that put us in that predicament in the first place. So, just like a drug user, if we don't change people, places, and things, we relapse right back into our addiction. Which is one of the reasons why I chose to go to a halfway house outside of the town that I was in. And then to top it off, I told him this is the kick, this is the thing. If drug selling is not an addiction, look at my rap sheet. I came to Connecticut. I did 3 years. Went right back home to it. Not because I enjoyed my stay so much that I couldn't wait to come back, but because just like a drug user, I allowed my addiction to overpower my sense of rationalization. And I said this, I can do this 12 years that I'm doing right here, right now. And if I was to go home, and if I wasn't able to take care of my responsibilities as a man and as a father, then there's a huge chance, huge possibility that I too will again relapse into my addiction of selling drugs. If that's not an addiction, what is, I remember the mayor of Bridgeport sent a representative, and after I did the presentation, dude came up to me and gave me his card. He was like, yo, I know you still got a little bit of time left. Because this was like when I was only like 3-4 years into my bid. So he's like, I know you still got a little bit of time left, but when you come home, if you need any help, I want you to look me up, and I'll see to it that you'll never have to sell drugs again to take care of your family or your responsibilities as a man or as a father. And that was dope, you know what I mean? But my point being is that a major factor of why dudes come home and go right back to the same thing that got them there in the first place. And that's one of the reasons why I don't judge. I'm a victim of it myself. And on that note, I'm out. If you haven't hit that subscribe button as of yet, hit the subscribe button for me. Follow me on Instagram at wes.smith.129. And until next time, peace.